Innovative.
Well, Coolazzcam, the coolest motherfucker on the planet, here with innovative comedy with my boy Tony Grams.
Hey,
That's so cute.
what's good? It's Tony Grams, coolest comedian. No, just take it. What's that shit? Like, take it D shit. He go, you like, nigga, what the fuck? Nah, shout out my nigga D. We doing our shit. It's Tony Grams, posted up. We in there chopping it up today. I'm taking everybody's shit, chopping it up.
Everybody.
Yeah, nigga, I'm sleepy and high, shit. But other than that, we just posted. Shit. Make sure y'all follow me if you ain't following me. I'm telling people on Instagram to follow me already, but it's like shit if this is gonna go on YouTube.
Where they gonna follow you at?
Tony Grams, TonyGrams. So put that up, So what we gonna talk about? We talk about maybe R. Kelly. They got his ass locked in. Was he trying to buy NBC?
Was he?
No, he was trying to get CBS.
He was trying to get CBS? Nah,
I'm joking.
I don't think.
No. You know what I mean? They come into
I think he really did a lot of that shit, and I think he was trying to take Avant down with him.
He was like a doppelganger. I always thought like Avant looked like a blind R. Kelly. Like if R. Kelly was blind, that's what he really be Avant.
I just looked at him as like the light-skinned twin.
He got them weird eyes, like they kind of sunk in and they beady, and it looked like he ain't looking at you when he look at you. Like he just like you be like the fuck. So it's just I don't know. He just always reminded me of the blind R. Kelly. Just
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
But they said they brought up like the Aaliyah shit in the trial, like the marriage certificate, It's just weird. I don't know, like, how the fuck all that shit was just to be unnoticed for all that fucking time. And then just or now it's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, nigga, y'all had him on trial before and didn't bring that shit up. And everybody knew about it.
Right.
So, niggas was like, I think it was Noriega was like, he went to the nigga studio and then they got like beds in the studio.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he said, we were like, what the fuck? Like, this nigga, you just bouncing around chilling and it's like niggas in bed or what are those for? So, I don't know. I think after a while, he deserved it. I mean, well, not even after a while.
Bring shit upon yourself.
Yeah, like you beat a fucking case. It's like the same thing. It's like the OJ syndrome. You beat the shit, even if you did it or not. Well, we know for sure you did it. Everybody likes to be like, they know for sure OJ did it. I'm like, nobody knows. He probably paid to do it. I would believe that more than that nigga was chasing a motherfucker around the car with a butcher knife. Like,
well, yeah.
I would take that over OJ, like, just slashed motherfuckers apart. It was like he paid him. I would believe that before,
So when do you think R. Kelly felt like he was untouchable? Like where he felt like, all right, I beat the case. Like at what point in his career? Like let's put a song to that era, that
not
time
guilty.
capsule. You think so?
Kelly Jigga not guilty.
I think it was the Pied Piper shit.
Yeah,
I think once he started putting the mask on and he started
but even what that represents, the Pied Piper took all the fucking town's kids and killed them.
Right.
Like with music on top of it, he took them with music and then killed them. Did some weird shit. So it's like that, and he was wearing a mask. Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe it like feeds more into like Hollywood shit of just like,
all right,
you know what I mean? Like some other shit.
Tell me this: is R. Kelly still in your playlist?
Nah, I haven't listened to R. Kelly song. I don't know. And it was even honestly, now this is some real shit. I feel like R. Kelly started making the same song over and over again, not Trapped in the Closet, which was the same song over and over again with different words. Spatula.
Hey.
The fuck out
Come on, bro.
So
he started making up Rufus and all these other names and shit.
Like the first 4 to 5 were okay, were cool. First 4 were solid, 5 was all right, and then it was just like, this is shit. And so it's like at that, like it was, what was the songs? It was not Hotel, it was
Fiesta.
It wasn't Fiesta. It's one of his main. Step in the Name of Love.
Step in the Name of Love. That was like the Pied Piper. He was already the Pied Piper.
Step in the Name of Love sounds exactly like motherfucking
Happy People.
Happy People.
But Happy People came out on the album after that.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. He just kept making, but that was his first lead off single too.
But
and
that was his
more.
new niche though, like that two-step music.
But it was literally like, bro, and then he redid like another one that was like a remix type of Happy People, but it wasn't Happy People. And it was just like, my nigga, like you're making the same song over and over again. And then it's on top of you out here doing videos like on weird shit with kids and shit. Now it's
so. All right, you want to talk about that? You want to touch on that a little bit?
Shit, that's what R. Kelly said.
So the daddy was in his band, right?
Yeah, was he the bass player?
He was the bass player, and like, how do you think that situation played out? Like he invited R. Kelly over to dinner one night or something, and he ended up seeing his daughter at the dinner table.
Or they all just came to a show or a concert,
like,
or
how did something like that happen?
Some like party where they're like, hey, let's just kick it and bring the fam out. And you come through, and this nigga got beds in his studio and weird shit, and he probably looking like, yeah. They said the nigga used to literally, it was a McDonald's in Chicago that's like known where that was his like pickup spot, like after school shit. Like he'd pull up and cruise around on the 26s and shit, and smoking cigars and just kind of jeweled up like boss player shit, but like literally like you out like where a kid, like teens kind of like hang at. So the nigga was on some other shit.
Damn, bro.
And then like I don't know, it just that shit just to keep like trying to like push it. Like nigga, you've been doing shit forever. You did the was a story Lord Jamar told where he was like he had a cousin that's like small statured, like really like kind of small, and but she was like a grown woman, and he was like she was in college and everything, and he said she's like she met R. Kelly out somewhere. And so they started talking. This is back in the day. He's like in the 90s. Like, so he's like, they start talking. Or he's like, he calls her like, yeah, I'm going to come scoop you up, blah, 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 whatever. And Jamar's like, the nigga comes over, scoops her up, they go on a date, and then drops her off, and then like they never talk again. And she was like, she told him, she started acting funny like when he was like, oh, so what you doing tomorrow? She was like, I got a class. And he was like, oh, well, like, you still in school? He was like, yeah. She was like, I go to college up at like whatever college it was.
Right.
And she said his reaction was like, college? Like, he knew she was kind of in school, but he was expecting high school.
That's crazy.
And she said they were like talking for whatever, however long, but he never called her again after that. So it was like, nigga, like, he found out you was like a fully, like, you was like 24, 25, and he didn't want you.
He didn't want you no more.
He thought you was like, and I remember it was a girl I used to work with. I ain't gonna say her name, but I used to work my first job.
You sound like Rodney now.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say her name.
my nigga Rodney. But it was like she was really small. Like she was about like 5'1", 5 foot even maybe, if that. But like super thick though, like big ass booty, like it was crazy. So I remember like the place I worked at, it was a call center, like Pink Dot. And like you call and just order whatever you want, but there's multiple people. It was a lot of famous people call there. I took a call from like Corrupt before, Bokeem Woodbine. Like I took a call from a bunch of like people. That shit was funny.
A lot of people don't know who that is.
Yeah, you know the evil Dave Chappelle.
the evil Dave Chappelle.
Nigga.
Bokeem Woodbine.
That nigga's red.
Seeing this character in all these movies, like, man, what's his real name?
Man, that nigga's like Red Kryptonite Dave. So that nigga, this nigga. His nigga is like, all the people we talked to was like, cool. So she got a call from R. Kelly one night. Like he called, he was somewhere at some hotel out here, and he called and ordered some shit. And she was like, he was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like, he actually invited her to the room to braid his hair. That shit was funny, my nigga, because then the song came out, come and braid my hair shit. And I was just like, this nigga really like, and I thought she was joking, like, and I'm sure he smashed, of course.
And he was singing that, he probably wrote that song while she was braiding it.
But I looked, but when all his shit came out, my mind went back and thought about this nigga, like, she's small as fuck. She looks like she's like, but she, and it's not, you see what I'm saying? Like, and like for you to be that, on that, it was just, that kind of feeds more into like what he likes.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like.
I feel you.
That shit was hilarious though. So it's like I don't know, that shit was I just felt like he know what he been doing. The nigga got caught up. And that was it.
Yeah, that's
so that's what
it was a matter of time, you know. I mean, if you got motherfuckers like Jeffrey Epstein and shit getting popped for the islands, then you gotta know that, you know.
Does the island still functioning, or is it just like
I'm
they
pretty
put like
sure.
yellow tape around it?
Yellow tape around the island.
Nigga just put it in the water, let it float. Like, nigga.
Nah, but that was some cold ass shit though. Like you think about it, how big of a scale that was. You got all these fucking billionaires, celebrities, and shit like that
Flying with this
flying
nigga,
out.
politicians.
Yeah,
Some freak show, nigga. Like,
getting it in. But like, where are these girls coming from? You know?
Oprah school in Africa.
Wow.
That's what, hey, real shit. Because I mean, I got theories. I'll be sounding crazy saying certain shit, but it was like when all them girls disappeared in that school, and then they actually blamed like not like actual like they was like it was just tribes of like the Africans. Like, what did they take these people with? They just came and took these girls with what? Like, did they have? It's like that don't make sense. And then nobody still, you couldn't go find those girls from tribes in the same area. They didn't leave and go to another continent. Them people just took them somewhere.
Right.
So it was, that made more sense. And when I see how Oprah does her deep dives on like Michael Jackson, Russell Simmons, R. Kelly, had Gail attack her R. Kelly, saving his life shit or whatever, fighting for his life.
The surviving R. Kelly.
Yeah. So you see when she won't do a Trump deep dive, she won't do an Epstein deep dive or Weinstein, and she has pictures hugged up kissing all three of them.
But she knows what people want to see, and she know what's gonna keep her credibility what it is.
She know how to end up without a. If she probably do speak on them niggas, so I probably should shut up then. No,
we gonna say that for the conspiracy show. You know,
hey, we still need to do one of that. We've been like, even Mark said he'll come on that. Like he was like, man, I'll be on that shit for real.
That's dope.
Shout out my nigga Mark Boyd.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of different things going on in the news right now, man. The world is kind of crazy. There's a lot of things I know I don't even want to mention. Especially on a video that I know gonna make it to YouTube because I don't want them to take it down.
Man, to take your whole fucking page down. They stop taking videos down or giving you flags. Start taking pages down, nigga. Like, you done.
Yeah, don't let it be a clip on Instagram. They gonna shut down your whole account. Like, you can leave a comment on somebody's post and they'll shut your account down for
2 days. 2 days. Yeah. That shit happened to me.
Oh, you bullying, harassment.
Nigga said was talking some racist shit, and I called him a faceless, because he didn't have a profile pic, and I called the nigga a faceless throat goat. I was like, nigga, you a faceless throat goat, nigga, fuck out of here. And I didn't even put the fuck out of here. I put laughing emojis, and it wasn't, he didn't report me. I hit send, like, or post to reply, and within like 6 seconds. And he had to like comment it maybe 2 hours ago, so he didn't see that shit that quick and he couldn't even get to the option to hit report. And then what it is, bullying, hate speech, in the amount of time my screen turned white.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, nigga, like Instagram immediately, like, we've been waiting for you to fuck up.
We've been waiting for you to fuck up.
We've been waiting. They just gave Boosie you see what they did to Boosie? They took his shit just like down for the fourth time, like. Nigga, this is like the fourth time.
Well, look at what he was doing. He went on there and put your pussy lips on live for it.
That was like, I think the first or the second time. That might have been the first time I think they took that.
But that shit extra as fuck. You know you gonna get your page reported.
Everybody knows
nigga
Boosie the realest nigga. Boosie the realest motherfucker in the world, my nigga. Like, that nigga, the whole Trill fam, that shit still slaps.
So Instagram's supposed to look at it and be like, oh, Boosie real. So
they supposed to be like, nigga, that's Trill fam.
Fuck all that.
That's Trill fam, nigga.
They gonna say, if we let him get away with it,
Fats,
everybody else gonna want to do it too. You know, that's how they coming.
Nigga, I woke up, dick hanging out my drawers, nigga. That's literally he gonna come. That's what you expect.
It's gonna be like Webby did with at the BET shit.
Nigga, Webby don't give no fucks. Who was that he was grinding up on? Was that
Roxy?
Yeah. Damn, did they kick me off IG? My shit just went like black, nigga. Cause did I say the dick hanging out my drawers?
Probably.
Damn. Cause that shit went completely black.
Yeah, they ain't fucking with you.
Oh, you say, are you sure you want to end? So, nah, I'll hit, yeah. Fuck it. Nah, I think that shit just stopped. Fuck it. Hey, we gonna keep going now.
We still alive.
Yeah, damn. Discard media, yeah. I ain't putting that up. They gonna be like, nigga, that's comedy. Let me go back again, because that's like crazy. We was just talking about niggas getting their whole shit taken down. What does everybody think about Dr. Umar's block party?
Dr. Umar's block party.
But he ain't got the school open yet. You having parties and planning the one for next year.
So I look at like a lot of shit that Lord Jamar say about Dr. Umar, you know?
And he just got up on him. Just from the interview, and he now, he a fraud. Like, Jamar, like, nigga, this nigga a clown, nigga, like, but can digress.
But that's what I get to, you know? It's hard for me to take credibility about somebody like that you know, it's you preaching a certain type of gospel. You really trying to push these values and things like that upon people, but how much are you living that?
None at all. Because he talks shit about black families, this, that, yada, 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 all this other shit. And then he literally talk a lot of shit about, I don't know, like different aspects of blackness or just manhood, and he don't be doing none of the shit. Like, he talk all the shit about the girl, and like, nigga, you got like, I think 2-3 kids, and then he don't take care of none of them. And like 2 of them was like over 18 at least. And it's like, you ain't seen them since they was like, so he got like a shady past, a certain little weird shit he done did. And he tried to keep that. And then it's like, my whole thing is this with Umar. Like, a nigga, you whatever you went to school with or for, you probably got a certificate in, but when he lies and starts saying, I'm a vice principal and a principal and this and that, you lying, my nigga.
He's saying there's principalities to this shit. That's what he's trying to say.
It's like, to me, it's the bullshit though. You know how you know you lying, because how out of all the hate, and not even hate because it's truth, but out of all the backlash, I'll say, that Umar gets for the bullshit he does, how in the age of the internet and all this shit, how has nobody came out and been like, I was a student at Umar's school.
Yeah,
I remember him. He was my vice principal.
Do you really have saying that?
I remember him. He was my vice principal. Right. I remember him. He was like, I remember he used to always like tell us about blackness, and like nobody like, no, that thing is, he lies about shit. He was doing bullshit at a school, misevaluating children, giving them bad diagnoses, and then they fired his goofy ass and got him up out of there. And it was like a whole different.
What is his doctorate in?
Huh?
What is his doctorate in?
I think it's like child psychology. He's supposedly he has 6 degrees, but a lot of it's like kind of believe that it's only 3 and maybe 4, 2 to 4 max. So he's like, because he just makes up shit. This nigga was just the same dude we saw get on the phone on his live when he was replying to SETI and was like talking shit. And the nigga's like, he acts like he's on the phone. He's on the phone. No, don't even trip. I got this. Because and his phone rings.
Right.
Like,
you ain't even
nigga,
talking
like,
to
you
nobody.
ain't talking to no. And he like, you see him, he was like, oh shit. Like, yeah, don't even. He didn't even answer it. He just cut it off.
That's the fakeness. Right there.
So
that's when you see
that's like, this nigga's supposed to teach black boys, and then he says he wants your kids to come there and they're gonna like stay for, it's like a boarding school damn near type shit.
So what you doing to these boys while they're there if they gotta live there with you?
That's what. So he even says that they're gonna have a back room where he takes them in, and he's some of them they gonna play something catch the flag.
You got me fucked up.
He said some weird.
Hide the rainbow rope.
These are words out of his mouth. Then he said something, he gonna cave some of their chest in. And then half of them he gonna have to kill because they not gonna make it, and they're the plague on the black community. So we gonna have to go to war with them and kill them off the corners, and like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, you just gonna pull up on niggas with Uzis like GTA and just spray niggas?
But that's some extreme revolutionary type of shit, and he's not really living that to even be making those types of like, you know, claims to people to say that this is what needs to happen if you're not even living that yourself
at all. I was like, Winston. He just walked up. I was like, what the hell is that little gray ball?
Shout out to Big Winston.
Big Winston. I'd scoop you up, but I'm high.
Here kicking it with us.
Yeah, you can hear him pop. He like, so that's all Karen Civil?
Karen Civil.
So Karen Civil.
Come on, educate me right now, because I don't know too much about this topic. So
I'm not. She's like, I want to say she's just an industry. She's a person. I don't. She's not a manager, but she's something as a, like, I guess like a connector or people. She's I can't remember the word, but, and I'm live, so I can't use my phone to look it up. But it's like she goes and she connects people, hooks you up with shows, I guess, endorsements. She gets you like, but she's not. I guess maybe she can be a manager, but for most she wasn't. She was just some type of connector. Yeah. And people invest. They give her the money to go, I guess, put back into the shit to bring up more revenues. And she just kind of was running off on certain niggas. And Cameron spoke up on her like a year or so ago, and everybody on Twitter, on Black Twitter, attacked him and was like, yeah, you just angry. Yeah, you hate black women. We know you hate black women, so.
I like how you said Black Twitter.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you got different Twitters. It's Twitter there, but then you got, you know, Black Twitter. I remember in my Twitter days, you know, I didn't kind of stepped
he
away
said in
from
my
the
Twitter.
game.
The nigga said,
but I remember.
like, yeah, my Twitter days, nigga. You know.
In my Twitter days, bro, we used to have the trending topics, all that shit going up. You know,
you go from AIM to Twitter. Nigga.
Right.
There was nothing to do. We gonna AIM or you gonna get on Twitter. See what's good.
You gonna get on Twitter. That was before Instagram and all that shit
all
blew
that
up.
shit.
Once
like,
motherfuckers got Instagram for the pictures, it was like it was a wrap.
It was over. But so she's like this person, like that's her shit. Like I guess it's like your somebody that they'd be helping your Twitter, I guess, boom, and get you all kind of other
like a
shit.
little marketing agency.
But yeah, that's what it is. I couldn't remember. I don't know why that word, but she's like that type shit, marketing and like digital marketing. I don't know why I couldn't just remember none of that shit till you said it. But so I know why. But like, so they did all this shit. It was cool. And you know, it was like she invested, but a lot of people she ripped off, and she ripped off a lot of people. So then Joyner Lucas came out and said the same shit, and it went all up on Clubhouse. It was like a big deal on Clubhouse for like a week and a half. And now people are like, shit, they filed charges on her because she literally was stealing from people. Like she took 60 G's from Cameron, like 60 from Joyner Lucas, and then he spazzed because he was like, I wasn't like people.
So they was paying for marketing.
Yeah, like,
and they never got the marketing.
And they never got. She just, and so Joyner was like,
so is it that they never got the marketing, or is it that they numbers didn't do what they expected?
No, they never. She didn't do shit. She didn't pay for the shit she promised. She never did any of it. Damn. She just dipped on them, and that's what she did. So she really did it to Joyner Lucas because he was kind of like known, but he was trying to
blow up.
He was trying to blow up.
But has she done this for anybody else yet? That
like made people. Well, I mean, she was working with Nipsey and like a lot of other people. She was King Von, like all that. Even when King Von's at Welcome to the O Block shit come on, it starts. It says Civil TV. Oh, like shit. That's her shit. So she's a popping motherfucker. She's a Joe Budden. She's like actually I think his like marketing person. Oh, and that's why she would call in and always kind of bang on Rory and Maul low key. Like she would kind of son them niggas like talk shit low key. Yeah. And they'd be kind of going back and forth like, it's like don't you probably talk to Joe like that, but you ain't talking like you know what I mean.
Yeah, I ain't having that shit.
So. She's like, she's a person of very importance, a very important person.
In the industry, but like behind the scenes.
Yeah, but exactly. But she's a thief, low key. So then another person, because she's Haitian American, I believe. So another Haitian woman like came out. I can't remember her name's like Joe something. I forgot her name, but she went in on her, and like she stole a gang of shit from her. So. Everybody's like, Joyner was like, bitch, I gave you like 60 G's and I had a baby on the way. And like, I had to consult with my manager and my investor. Like that, it was really people putting money into me and was like, you sure? And they was like, just do it if it's really gonna work. And he was like, that was 60 fucking G's. And he said, you dipped on me. And then went on vacation. Yeah, and then he said, I was blowing your phone up. He said, I blew her phone up. And when she finally answered, was like, what? Like, what? She hit him with one of those, like that nigga attitude shit, like, bitch, like, oh, he wasn't, he, like, that, what, like, oh, that's like the girlfriend that's, like, snatching away from the boyfriend,
right,
like, what, like, what you mean, what, like, I'm a stranger or something, motherfucker, like, so,
like, man, like, you ain't known me for some,
like, nigga be like, but that shit was like, so he was going off, like, because he was like, I just always believed in myself and knew I was gonna blow anyway, and so now that I'm finally here and I have blown up, and I can verify you are like, boy, you a piece of shit, like you a thief. And he was like, I remember this now. He's like, I hope they like fry your ass, like, and everybody was just going in on her. So they made like a meme, like, oh shit, Black Twitter needs to apologize to Cameron and all kind of shit. It was like that shit was weird. But when I rap, and they had the same shit happen in like when I was signed to, what was the shit, like was it Warner? No, what the fuck was it? The Warner 123 or something, like some shit they most likely fucking made up, but it was connected through a same type dude that was like signed by the group or signed by he was supposedly like a label dude, Father MC. I don't know the nigga if you remember. Like,
I heard of Father MC before. Mm-hmm. I know exactly who you talking about.
He's a nigga, and low key he put Diddy on. Low key he's even on Diddy's, I think, Unsung or Diddy's like BET bio shit. Mm-hmm. And they interview him on there. He's a known. He put a lot of people like Mary J. So he was a known nigga. So it made sense to like, all right, we fucking with this nigga. He's an older cat. He had hits on the radio back in the day, but he gonna help us out with some shit. We gonna get it. So. The nigga was kind of like, he was like weird, like old weird nigga. It seemed like he was still like a GTA character.
Yeah, like an NPC.
Yeah, like when you go to the studio and there's like some dude in there bopping and he's like all old and shit. And it's like what are you listening to? This shit is whack. Like, you know what I mean? He trying to play beats. And it's like, nah, our camera keep dropping out. That's weird. Oh, I think somebody
trying to fucking with you. They trying to go live with you?
I think so. Go live in a room. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. I don't be going live, so all these notifications.
They trying to tap in with you.
Somebody else? See?
Nah, you ain't got no notifications. It'd be a red bubble right there.
I don't know what the fuck, but why it do that though? See how it just dropped out? Like,
they not fucking with you right now.
They was like, we're done with him.
They ain't fucking with Tony Grams on Instagram.
They like, I got banned. I'm like, he's too wild right now. Someone threw a shoe at him.
They shadow banned you.
Say, hey, I've been shadow banned, like, and I'm like a fucking nobody, nigga. Like, but that shit. So Father MC was doing the same shit to people. Like he kind of got got us for like about like four G's. Like niggas invested like we doing, but what he didn't expect, I think niggas was really good. So when he heard the music, he was like, "Damn, nigga, like y'all niggas." So he really did. He got us some shows at the Whiskey, this that, like big name spots where it was worth it. Like not worth it to get ripped off, but you know what I mean. Like okay, this is an accomplishment to perform here. This is like some shit that all right, this is you did something at least, like. But the fact of like, I heard this nigga telling motherfuckers like, yeah, just give me 40,000 for the whole shit, and I'm like, nigga, like this motherfucker about to invest 40,000 in this little rinky dinky ass spot to do an album or a mixtape or some shit, like, and then he's like stealing beats from other people. He'll call you in, and then had to give you the same speech, and then I leave or you leave, and then he calls me and gives me the same speech and plays the beats. You like showed him that you have.
Oh shit.
And be like, this is what I got for you. Yeah, I made these yesterday. So shit like that, like some cold like movie shit. But I'm like, nigga, that's what she was doing, and I think that's known in the industry. A lot of people just rip niggas off.
Yeah.
Like on some like, fuck it, you know, this nigga's a nobody. Ain't nobody gonna know who this nigga is. Like he ain't gonna make it. And then niggas get up and then remember motherfuckers and be like, that's the industry.
Yeah, it get like that. It get like that.
I don't know, just
don't mind if I do.
Yeah, do you partake? So that shit is like, I don't know, it just said, wait, my shit just went out. I was like, no camera, there it go. I don't know what the fuck that was like off for. Yeah.
So I know earlier we was talking a little bit, and it's something that I've been really interested in throughout my life. Let's talk about some sports. Let's talk about sports entertainment.
Oh, you talking about
some wrestling.
Some Raw versus
professional
SmackDown
wrestling.
shit.
Now, we grew, we watched during the eras of like those Monday Night Wars.
Yeah,
like
all that shit. That shit was fun.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's certain channels and things like that we was talking about that's putting out this content to where we can actually feel like we living through that again.
Yeah. And then like it's like literally you just watching it. It felt like every Monday and Monday night and Thursday night and all that, Friday night at first because it was like Friday nights right now. So, or no, was it Thursday?
It was Thursday at first.
And then they moved to Friday, and then they moved back to Thursday. Yeah.
Remember they was on UPN.
Then they were on.
That was the nigga network.
Then they were on TNN. Remember? You remember when they were on the Nashville network?
That's when they lost the contract with USA.
Yeah, they was on TNN for like a year or two.
When they went to UPN, because you had the Hughleys and Moesha and all that shit.
Everybody was making appearances on the show and shit.
Right, but when it came out right there, like they was getting some ratings, but then they ended up selling that shit to Fox, didn't they?
They went on Fox for like a season. I think that shit nobody watched. It just seemed weird.
I think Fox still
the way they were trying to like promote it was weird.
But
like,
Fox still has ownership in SmackDown.
I'm sure they probably do. Like chipped up that nigga Vince and that's it. Like that shit. Because it just seemed like live video pause. Like this shit is just weird. My camera keep going out. The shit reconnecting. I'm probably hacked or some shit.
Probably.
Somebody just like fuck your live, nigga.
Yeah, they ain't fucking with you right now.
But it's I don't know. I mean, it's like I like a lot of old shit. I haven't like really watched a lot of wrestling like I used to. That shit was like fun.
Cause it ain't the same no more.
It's like weird. It's just like weird. And maybe we just old too. That's the thing. Like
nah, I think it was more like in the late '80s, early '90s. It was more cartoonish. you know, it wasn't a lot of reality to it. But then we had a conversation earlier. Some of those wrestlers broke the barrier, where they took the realism and put that into it and told everybody what was really going on.
Yeah.
And it kind of made it harder for the people who came in only knowing the character. That's all they had to themselves was that character and that gimmick, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that shut a lot of people's careers down because you had too much of the realism coming in with it now, too.
So, and that's what we were talking about with the, like you said, with the CM Punk shit. And I think that, like, to me, like, I understood what you were saying about, like, it kind of it was, you're not supposed to show, like, behind the curtain and shit. But then I looked at it like, that shit was, like, it was a major deal because he said what needed to be said, but was like he said what needed to be said and kind of said like what a lot of people have been thinking and been saying for fucking at least a decade. Like, what the fuck is this? From the time since they went PG, you know, when Linda runs for governor. Every time Linda runs for governor, I said, oh Lord. Oh, I literally said the cup. That's cold.
Hey, niggas get their orders fucked up around here.
Wow.
I don't even expect to have what I want.
Nigga wanted wiener schnitzel. Imagine expecting a cup of wiener schnitzel fries and y'all get this shit. Like, you just throw them and they fly. No, I'm grateful. I'm gonna be grateful. I'll be grateful.
Grateful and blessed.
Blessed and bougie. Yeah, but I don't even remember what I was saying.
We was talking about Vince.
Yeah, just Vince and all the pipe bomb and all that.
CM Punk. Yeah.
I just felt like a lot of it was like it was good because it people were saying that like Triple H and whoever, they don't listen to the fans. Like, oh, what the fuck do they know? They're in their mom's basement. Blah 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 blah. That was like always the return MO of like a wrestling. You're a mark. You're a wrestling mark. You don't know shit. You are a wrestling stan. You know you're a goof. Like, just watch the product and enjoy it. Shut up. Let these dudes work and
be entertained.
And that's it. And I understood that too. But then when your product is slipping and becoming like straight garbage, and like shit nobody really wants to see, then it's like, all right, bro, like you tripping. Like, we don't want this.
When do you think was the turn? Like, where people didn't want
it was
to see
it was the PGs. Like, and it happens every time because Linda spent over $1 billion trying to become governor of Connecticut. And she's like, every time she runs,
they was associating her name with the company.
So when every time from when I think it was the late '90s and the early 2000s when she first ran, every time when they're gearing up the run, from before it even starts, all of a sudden no more chair shots. That's when the chair shots left.
They had to stop the bleeding.
No bleeding, no.
And they was getting fined.
No overly like, sexual, but they would pay the fines. They didn't give a fuck.
I was watching something
that shit would sell. That
Batista,
shit would be
Dave Batista,
and they do the whole match black and white and Triple H, and they were both like, he's like busted and he fucked Triple H to fuck. That's when he turned good and went from Evolution and smashed that nigga Triple H, and it was like
But somebody hit him with something and busted him open like on top of the cage, and he paid everybody's fine that was involved with that because he wanted to make it happen. But he was the one that got busted open. But he paid all the fines.
That's good sportsmanship. That's like some good shit. Like, hey, I'll do it.
He was trying to put on a show.
Yeah, let's do it. Like, so that shit is cool off of like. It's cool off of like. When you watch it and it's entertaining, we was all into that shit as kids, teenagers, young adults and shit. Then it's like you start doing other shit and you kind of fall off here and there. But it was like it changed so much when they started doing sock puppets and shit. And,
so you're saying Mankind, you wasn't fucking with Mr. Sock?
Yeah, I was, but I mean, not even. I'm talking about like Santino. You remember Santino Morello and Snake, the Cobra.
Yeah, but see, you remember like, Jake the Snake, right? So he was trying to like do that, but couldn't nobody ever come close to what Jake the Snake did.
But it was like it just seemed kind of corny. Like his whole character was just like this little slapstick goofball, and it was just what are you doing with this dude? Like, and it was like it's a lot of that's what they're known for doing a lot. They get super great talent from other like companies that have been like legends in Japan and America and in these different promotions, and then they get them there and like fuck them completely off, make them do some fuck shit. People will be happy when they come, or the majority of WWE fans won't know who this person is because they don't watch other promotions. But everybody else is rooting for this person. Like, oh, they got so and so there. Then they got them doing this weird shit, and then the fans that don't know just don't cheer and be like, or start doing stupid chants, and then Vince and them look at that like, you can't make it here. It's like, nigga, look what you put me in. Like, I could have made it here if I was me.
Okay.
Like, that's why Kenny Omega said he's never like going to. Because Kenny Omega's been the man every fucking where he goes, but guarantee he goes there, they gonna have him doing some stupid like.
But there's some people who have been able to take their gimmick and they've been able to run with it.
Yeah.
Look at like
DDP,
Val Venus. You know, like they made him out to be a porn star.
But you see how the wrestling bio about him?
Yeah.
I just watched that one a couple weeks ago. I was like, damn.
But once his character changed up, yeah, it went all downhill.
Like, it was like Right to Censor. I remember Right to Censor.
It worked for him.
Yeah. I still, because they were still like good heels. Right to Censor, Good Father. Yeah. He turned to the Good Father. And
but he had so many gimmicks even before that. Mm-hmm. He was Kama. He was
Papa Shango.
You know, it's like you had this history.
He was part of the little, like when it was like the bike, it was different little factions that never really worked, but that could, you know, it's so niggas play that, and I always noticed that with wrestling, at least some people they recycle, because it's like, you know what I mean? Oh, that shit. I think they kicked me off again. I think what it is, I'm drinking and smoking. Like, you know what I mean? Like right on the camera. Like
you can't do that?
I don't know. Maybe not me. Maybe I'm like on a sensitive list or some shit. Because I was wondering why I kept pausing, and then I hit it, and it was like it looked like the screen was like pausing, and then I have to click my camera back on.
No, wow.
So I was like, maybe because I was drinking too, the beer, and it's like fuck it. At least they saw enough of me. We still recording. We live, baby. Like, but yeah. So I don't know. It just seemed when she runs for that office, they have to dumb shit down and shit gets shitty. There's no more like hardcore, like turnbuckle. It's no more attacks like backstage where that look like vicious.
Kane is a mayor in Tennessee, right?
A bunch of them do different. Like you see how Jesse Ventura eventually became. But I think Kane ain't stuck. Kane just stopped, didn't he? He like.
Nah, I just saw him do an interview on the news the other day.
No, I mean he stopped wrestling.
He comes back for guest appearances.
Yeah, he just pops up.
But he's older now. You know, he's already past his prime.
He's like 50. I think now 49 or 50.
I noticed the difference when he came out in his costume and he had the stomach sticking out, and I'm like, damn, bro, like what happened? But it's you didn't already kind of lived a different life now. You're not in there training, doing the same shit every day. But he'll still come back to do guest appearances.
It is like it's a lot of people like how they used to bring Eugene and shit back. You remember Eugene? Like that's fucked up. That's fucked up. This nigga Cam just laughed at Eugene. I'm laughing too, but you really like laughed at this nigga.
I laughed because of the character that they made him play. That's fucked up because he wasn't really like that
at all. So he fucked up for even doing that shit.
He became popular because of that character.
Yeah. You like rubbing pumpkins?
But that broke barriers because that showed that everybody can do everything.
Yeah. And people, well, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Give everybody inspiration. That's dope.
What about Hornswoggle?
That was funny. He was Finley's little leprechaun.
Then they put him in DX.
He used to come out with a little t-shirt gun.
Yeah.
It was just like, is it because he's green? Did he ever get the Sweet Chin music? Did Shawn Michaels turn on him?
I don't know. That'd be a low ass kick.
We should look that up. Like,
you know, on the video game, like Mortal Kombat, they got high kick, medium kick, and low kick. That'd be low kick for sure.
Yeah, yeah. He just goes into the wall and shit. Y'all remember, like, Hornswoggle's
Who are some of your favorite like characters of wrestlers back in the day?
Ultimate Warrior. Sorry, when I was a kid. Like the first Halloween I can remember, I was Hulk Hogan. I was Hulk Hogan. Like I think for like 2 Halloween straight, I wanted to be Hulk Hogan because my uncle used to clown. Like I used to say Hulk Hogan. I didn't say Hulk Hogan. I was like 3, like Hulk Hogan. Like he's hard.
Hulk Hogan.
Like so, he hate niggas now. So like he don't like niggas. Like
then I seen WWE saying they ain't fucking with Ric Flair no more. Like,
after that shit. But they knew about this shit years. Like that's all of a sudden now because it's a story, and it's in the street. So all they gonna do is go to AEW, well, maybe.
Or back to Impact Wrestling.
Yo, yeah, I forgot that was it. I didn't even realize that shit
That's still going on.
Yeah, I really didn't even realize it until about maybe a month ago, and I saw something about it, and it was like, and I was like, is this old?
I think Jeff Jarrett probably still down there or something, because it's a lot of these famous families that's known for
wrestling. The Rhodes.
The Rhodes. You had the Jarretts. Because you had Jerry Jarrett, and then his son was Jeff Jarrett.
Even Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
I fuck with Jim
Paul
Cornette.
Heyman been around for a long time.
I fuck with Paul. Everybody's a Heyman guy.
All these territories.
All of the Heyman guys are usually the best guys.
I got something for
Brock,
you.
CM
Have
Punk,
you watched Heels?
No, not yet.
I recommend that show for you.
Yeah,
because you a fan of wrestling.
Yeah.
And the way like you study the history of the small town wrestling and things like that, how they got to where they are, these big promotions, that show is a very good place to start. I think they like 5 episodes in.
Oh, really? Yeah, because I remember they were doing the commercials like, and it's on Stars or something.
I've been watching it though.
And and CM Punk even said that
he was on the show.
Yeah, he said that's
Mick Foley was on the show.
He said that's the reason he came back to wrestling, because he was and the fact that he was getting mopped up in UFC, and he was like, fuck it, why not? And I want to wrestle, just not for Vince fucking McMahon and Triple H, because they misused the nigga. This nigga was the best talent. Like this nigga was dope as fuck when they put him in ECW. He only won the ECW title. Here's the trip. He won the ECW title. I'm 99% sure that was the match. It was CM Punk versus. It was supposed to be CM Punk versus Chris Benoit. And that was the night Chris Benoit killed himself and his family. Remember, and then he didn't. They just thought he no-showed a pay-per-view.
Somebody don't just win a belt.
Yeah, they
script it out and they plan it, and that person knows going into that match that they about to get the 3 count.
But now they might have had to rewrite it because they thought Chris no-showed, and they put John Morrison. It was John Morrison versus CM Punk for the ECW title when they still had the show on Tuesdays, and that's when CM Punk won the ECW title.
Right.
So who knows if Chris Benoit would have showed up, and they would have just kept the title if that would have been in the script for him to keep the title. And so that was his first like world like WWE, and it was, you can't even say it's still WWE because they owned the ECW at that point. So
right,
but he won that world title, and he was a perfect fit for ECW. He looked like what I remember ECW in the late '90s when I was like a teen, like what that shit looked like. And just the feeling it gave you, like when that shit came on.
I remember when I was watching WCW. I started it when I really started watching weekly, the Monday Night Wars. It was WCW because the whole Dennis Rodman coming in, and then they got Karl Malone out there with DDP, all that
cowboy
shit, right?
Boots and shit on.
So by me watching NBA at the time, I see these niggas going to fucking wrestling. I'm like, Bash at the beat? Hell yeah, I want to watch this
I watched Hog Wild, all that shit.
After that, I started keeping up, like, faithfully, every week. And then it gets to the point to where I'm flipping channels now because I want to see what's going on the other channel.
Yeah.
Now, who's going to keep me hooked and engaged more?
And I was always a hardcore WWE fan, so from the 80s, like I said, I was Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan. I used that's who I like. I liked even like back then. I'll say like people like Tugboat,
Earthquake.
Boss Man. I hated Earthquake as a kid just because he couldn't nobody beat him until I think was it Hogan.
What about Haku?
I remember him, but I didn't really like.
They say he was the real life. He was the toughest person.
Oh yeah, I heard that before.
He's nobody
a fucking
fuck
Samoan, like,
but
you know what I mean.
He
like,
wasn't gonna tap out. He wasn't gonna do none of that shit. That's why when they put him against Goldberg, that was Goldberg's first real loss.
I remember that,
but they didn't count it.
Oh really?
They didn't count his loss until Kevin Nash when he beat him for the belt. But
I thought he beat Haku. That was Haku's first loss.
No, he beat Goldberg that night.
Really? I thought he just ran. I remember him fighting out because that was like his second match, wasn't it?
Nah, he was in there for a while because he was going through all these jobbers.
No, but I think his first. I remember him fighting Haku when he was like 3 or 4-0.
He was Ming.
He had so that was okay. So he was Ming at that point. Mm-hmm. Okay,
he was Haku in WWF.
Oh, okay, I'm tripping.
And then when he went to WCW, they went to the Faces of Fear.
They
was in the Dungeon of Doom, him and the Barbarian.
I remember that, yeah.
And the Barbarian didn't change his name. He was still Barbarian ever since WWF.
Yeah, I hated that nigga. Just he be doing that shit. Like, I used to hate that nigga. Like, it's just weird. Like the dudes I like now.
I like them though because I felt like They was a cold ass tag team.
Yeah,
like the Samoans.
Yeah, I remember that.
Fucking with
and
them.
he had the thumb and the I remember that shit. And
the tongue and death grip.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
Yeah, locked that shit in. That's how he beat Goldberg. But then they didn't count that as a legit win for some reason.
Because they wanted to keep the script going, and WCW was a shit show.
Then Kevin Nash beat him for the belt and dropped it to Hulk Hogan the next night.
Oh yeah, with the finger poker.
With the finger poker.
That nigga was like 175-0, 173.
Something like that.
It was like 173.
But it wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was like 90 something when Ming beat him.
That's crazy. I don't remember that. I gotta watch that. So what? He tapped.
He went unconscious.
Damn, I don't remember. I probably had already turned and was watching
Ming was supposed to get the belt. Because the NWO was out there trying to like cheer him on and help him. Like, we want you to beat.
Because he did join. Like I watched all the different factions of the NWO, and I believe he was.
They put him on because they knew he was the toughest motherfucker
so
back
I just
there.
put him in the NWO too. So like it just give it more like. And they showed all the cliques that was in the NWO, and I didn't even know it was like I knew NWO and the Wolfpack, and of course LWO, but they but then they had
the LWO was Eddie Guerrero shit.
It was Eddie, Ray, Chavo. Like I think Juventud.
Chavo, they wouldn't let Chavo be in there.
Okay.
They kept kicking Chavo out.
Okay, then it was like Juventud Guerrero, or no, Juventud, not Juventud.
He kept trying to give Juvia a shirt. It was all the people, all the cruiserweights,
all the high flyers and the
cruiserweights.
Because they had some sick. I remember it was Psychosis.
Yeah,
Psychosis, La Parka.
La Parka was dope.
La Parka was like
I think what was it, DDP that came out that one time dressed like La Parka?
He was like, yeah. My favorite one was when La Parka.
Or no, it was Dean Malenko. He did that to Chris Jericho.
Was that when wasn't that Goldberg that speared La Parka when he hit him with the chair and he turned around, did a little dance and he was like, and he did the little knees and turned around, gore, nigga that shit. Nigga, I think like the other people be talking about different gores and spears. Nigga, Rhino had the coldest fucking gore spear. Nigga,
Rhino was the coldest.
Rhino, he's the first person. The first time I seen ECW, I had never heard of it. I was flipping. It was Saturday night. I had to be like 15 or something, nigga. It was like about like midnight, and it was like almost midnight. And I'm just turning channels, and when you get bored, and this is like the old TVs where you gotta like hit the knobs.
I caught on in like 97 to ECW.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I start turning the bottom TV part 30, going through 50, 28, and nigga, I must have got to like KDOC, like channel 46. And I see a nigga I see wrestling and people just cheer. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, cause I'm all, still a wrestler at this point, major wrestling head. And I see niggas getting hit with I see Rhino fighting, he's beating the shit out of Sandman. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm like.
Sandman was the first person I saw.
Then I was like, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I see him throw.
He was coming out to Nirvana.
Yeah, Metallica. Enter the Sandman.
Enter the Sandman.
And that shit to this day to me is still like
that's right.
Him and New Jack. New Jack's intro, because New Jack used to come out. He would come out to Cube and Dre's Natural Born Killer.
New Jack.
And like I remember the first match I seen him on because I started watching it. So the first shit I see is like Rhino just spears fucking Sandman and throw him out the ring. Then he grabs his girl and like her whole ass is out and shit. And then he like puts her in the power driver and like they're on the edge of they're on the side of the ring. They're on the ring. This nigga gives her a power driver from the ring through a table to the floor. And then like grabs the mic and says, Happy Mother's Day, you fucking bitch. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I swear that was the first, and I seen that episode live, nigga. That's crazy. And was like, that was like literally
because originally they was on TNN, remember?
I don't even remember that. They was on TNN never seen,
doing Saturdays.
I had never seen ECW until
they was doing a
that KDOC shit Saturday night, which was probably a replay because nobody's live wrestling at midnight on Saturday. And it's like, so it probably was whatever.
They was originally on TNN because they used to have the TNN banners in the back of their.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it was probably more like regional because they were based in Philly.
Exactly.
And they never came. I went to the one at the Grand Olympic downtown next to Trade Tech. That was the one time they came to LA.
They was
went
in
to
the Hammerstein Ballroom in Philly. That's where they used to film.
And so and then sometimes they did that. The most they would travel would be New York, DC, Philly, and maybe Ohio. they never came past like Ohio. And that one time they came out here, we went to that shit. Was like that was the greatest fucking shit ever. And they got into like a fight outside with like the XPW dudes.
Yeah,
like them niggas just showed up like on like what is that, Grand? I think that's like Grand. We was like outside, and them niggas like really started like the police helicopter came. That shit was like a mini riot, low key. Like first people thought it was like this a work pretty much. Like because when you see niggas stomping and hitting, you be like, but these niggas was like fighting and like socking each other. Like it was like these niggas really fighting. And it was like I think it was like Antoine Riggs, like a few like ECW, like I think Just Incredible, like a couple of them niggas was out there. Like,
how many names did he have? Because you remember he was in the tag team.
Yeah, Bob Holly.
With Bob Holly with fucking
the no names,
the NASCAR,
the fast man and the moon man, the fast moon and the car man. Like it was like weird. That was weird. I think that's from the era people were just on coke. Everybody was, and now a lot of them people were just doing what the fuck they wanted to do mentally.
You think it was Vince McMahon and like Jim Cornette and motherfuckers like that in the background? It was all Pat Patterson.
They just like fuck. I don't know. Thinking a lot of them be like, fuck this guy. He thinks he's the shit, and I can't wrestle. Or I don't have a physique like him, so I'm gonna like make him look like a fucking clown and like other shit. I think a lot of it was that shit. Like so. Because it did, and a lot of it didn't make sense. They tried to screw like a lot of people over that were like great talents, either because they were too small to them, but they can go everywhere else and be like legendary. And it's like Finn Balor or Prince Devitt, like you know what I mean? Like I fucked with that nigga.
Fit Finley.
Yeah, like that nigga.
Like you go from Fit Finley to Finley.
It was just that's the formula. Like I noticed that about out of all the years I watched wrestling, I noticed that about 5-6 years ago.
You know who I used to like, bro? Yeah. Like that I felt was a dope wrestler, and they didn't really get the shine that they should have got. You remember Norman Smiley? He do the wiggle.
And that nigga was funny. He had some weird ass draws on.
Then he needed a gimmick, so he had to start doing the hardcore matches.
Yeah, he was getting his ass whooped, and then
Norman Smiley.
That nigga was hilarious. That's the type of like PG I can deal with, because it was funny, but it was like it wasn't bad. Like what the fuck it was that shit. He used to have me fucking dying in WCW.
Yeah, like he was one of the reasons I would watch.
Yeah,
like motherfuckers like that.
Even the way his boots, like he had like the mid boots,
but they weren't even like wearing yellow and like some bright ass blue.
He'd have some funny ass built trunks, and they look like just draws though. And then his boots were like mids.
Right.
They weren't like everybody else wearing some highs.
And he already balding on the top of it.
And then he had just the clean fro that's like kind of gone. And then
the hairline receded.
And then he just be smiling, clapping, shaking his booty.
But that nigga get out there and win some matches.
Yeah, be clapping and hitting this little wiggle.
Remember he became a screaming Norman Smiley? Yeah. He was in the hardcore matches and then just be screaming every time he get hit by something.
I forgot about that. Oh shit!
Them was the times I remember.
That's fucking hilarious. And it's like with the 24/7 matches. I mean, now they got do they still have the 24/7 belt?
That was how what's his name? We was talking about him earlier. R-Truth or K Quick or
Ron Killings.
Ron Killings, how he got his.
That nigga used to do stupid.
But that's what popularized him, by defending that belt 24/7, by bringing back them hardcore title rules.
Just fighting anywhere and like be outside at like hometown buffet and just got to defend your belt and shit. Like,
and you got a cameraman there with you.
I'm eating this biscuit. Yeah, like he's just talking to himself. And I'm sure it's like Booker T and Austin in the supermarket.
Yeah, that was classic.
Or like Austin and my favorite
Stone Cold was talking shit to him while he was whooping his ass.
My favorite one is Austin and McMahon in the hospital when he beat his ass while his foot was in the cast.
Oh yeah, when Mankind came in and then he walked out and Austin came in.
And he just like hit him with the pan. He hit him with the bedpan and knocked him back out. And then the way he was just beating on his cast,
he would whoop Vince
just everywhere.
Everywhere.
It was like the chicken. It was like the chicken and Peter Griffin.
Yeah,
like how they just get out there, but it wasn't even a mutual get out. It was just an ass whooping.
Destroying his cars.
Yeah, cement. The
beer truck was the coldest one, where he came out there to the beer truck with the beer truck and sprayed out the whole fucking ring, and everybody in there got hit.
That shit.
The whole corporation.
And they did it. They tried to redo it again with the milk truck during like certain PG.
They try to make it PG
because it was like, so when she runs, that's the shit you get. They try. It's like they have no ideas.
This is what I took out of it. Once they hit the ruthless aggression era.
Yeah, that was so fucking hardcore, and that was like a lot of people like, is that the one that they say is supposed to be the best?
That's when John Cena first came out.
No. Which one is the one they say is the best era? Everybody says. Is
to
it
me, is the Attitude era.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay, I couldn't remember the name.
Attitude is considered the greatest. 96 to like 2001.
Yeah. Like, and then it was Ruthless Aggression. Then it was the New Generation or some shit. Or
yeah, because that Ruthless Aggression, you got Brock Lesnar, you got John Cena, you got Dave Batista, you got Edge. You got
Edge going in as far as the rated R superstar Edge.
Randy Orton coming out.
Just fucking breaking everybody apart with the RKO Legend Killer shit.
Triple H was pretty much just putting people over at that point.
Yeah. And it was like that's, and he works good with, even that shows just that they need to kind of evolve, with meaning they might need to shed Vince or certain other people.
No, but you see what they did to Triple H. He was running NXT.
Yeah, but even Vince is still trying to. They said even that he was still trying to keep his hand in it, and him and Triple H started actually really like bumping heads in real life
because he wants full creative control.
And he's like, I know what I'm doing, and I don't like that guy. It's like Vince has like this fixation of like big buff niggas, like that you have to be at least 6'5", like, and up 6'4" and up at least, and like 240 at least, like 260. So it makes sense, but he wants these 8. That's why you get to set the Kanes, Undertakers.
Right, I got one more question for you, just based off of that. Do you think? All right, Shane is doing digital media, doing all that type of shit. He's not an heir to this company no more at this point. Okay, you got Stephanie and Triple H. You know that's that alliance right there that Triple H then came in and made for himself, to where he's attached to the. Do you think that Vince is gonna leave the company to them, or is he gonna sell the company to a bigger business?
He gonna leave it to Stephanie and Triple H. I mean, and then he probably still might leave it to fucking Shane. He said he don't want it.
Shane's not taking it.
Oh, really?
Shane
I seen him doing some
Shane was the
shit.
person that created the first WWF website and all that type of stuff. He was the
he
more
was like, let's evolve,
that type of behind the scenes.
Like, we need to evolve.
We got to
keep up with shit. Like, that's smart.
So if anything, he's thinking about how can we keep that business running. But when it comes to operations,
Vince is still thinking about, we need 300-pound dudes to body slam each other like a scoop slam.
Hogan and Andre the Giant.
That's literally a scoop slam, and niggas look at the
Lex
crowd.
Luger and Yokozuna.
And niggas look at the crowd and do this, and everybody, that mindset, that time in fuck wrestling. Fuck that. That time in this world is fucking gone. Where people are that like
but everything's
pure,
evolved,
and they see. You see what I'm saying?
Everything's evolved because you got female referees now.
But not even that. I'm saying.
But remember how a women's match used to be an evening gown match?
Yeah, that shit was so stupid.
It wasn't like nothing to.
But look at even like, I seen a meme that was like look at this. It was a picture of Woodstock, and they was like, we can never do this again. Not even just talking about whatever going around, but. Like, we can't get that many people in a spot. Like, it was a picture of Woodstock, and that shit just looked like a city, damn near. There's people, just a sea of people just like chilling, and it was like, we can't, in this day and age, we can't get that many people in a spot like that and nothing happens.
Right.
Even if you get like compared to because
think about it. Look at that Vegas shit that happened with the shootout and all that. It was a fucking country concert.
Yeah, exactly.
So just think about, it's not even the type of event it is. It's just the fact of having that many people in one place at the same time.
Exactly, and that's what they're saying. That whole era is a fucking wash of like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, we can't. It's a mindset of. It's the same. I look at it like this. Look at horror movies. Horror movies in the 50s was like a nigga with a bug head on. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's like looking like a big ass fly, looking at and scaring motherfuckers and shit. And you know what? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, it looks like a big ass fly, and everybody in the theater is screaming and like huffing. Then you look at the 60s, and it's like the Wolfman. It's just a nigga with, like, they got prosthetics. They're like, it's getting better. Look at the 70s, now it's like slashers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then look at the 80s, and it's like supernatural slasher killers that can't be stopped. Then look at the 90s, and it evolved to like Scream teen shit. It's still teen, but it's like the killer is one of us, one of the homies. Like then the 2000s, it was the View the view, first person view, Quarantine, and certain movies where it's like from To Hell and Back and all that, or So Is Below. You know what I mean? Where it's they have like the whole movie is just like the girls looking at you, like walking with you, because the mind kept evolving of why the fuck would I be scared of a nigga with a bug head on? Why the fuck would I be scared of a nigga with a wolf mask or wolf hair on his face in 1990? Why would I be scared in the 80s? You see what I'm saying? Like they had to keep upgrading and that's what I'm saying.
Reinvent.
And that's what I'm saying with wrestling. And the world it keeps changing, and Vince doesn't see that a lot. To where, I mean, look at Lashley. He could have been champion fucking over 10 years ago. But should have been champion over 10 years ago.
All right, so let's talk about
where he had to leave and become a triple champion,
Black World Champion. So WCW ain't never had a problem giving
Ron Simmons.
He was the first one, right?
Big Ron.
Farouk. He put in his work, and he was able to be the first one to do that.
Yeah.
But then you see they didn't have a problem giving that belt to Booker T. Or, anybody else that probably even would have been able to compete within that era.
Probably gave it shit to Stevie Ray.
If it wasn't around Hogan era, as long as Hogan wasn't involved.
He just wanted, like, look, brother, I need the belt from you.
Right. But now we see how things are going in the industry, and it's a little bit better. I mean, I think Big E might get that belt.
Yeah.
I see Big E. They putting a lot of hype around him right now.
And they're not going to waste his, like, money in the bank shit. And all it is, you know what I mean? He already cashed, but not how they did Kofi kind of cold with Brock.
They just brought Goldberg back, I think.
Oh, again?
It's a lot of
probably because they brought Brock back.
They brought Brock, but at the same
here's
time,
a twist. And mark my words, I think it might happen. They're going to team up.
And I think they're going to bring them back to
put
some of these newer dudes over.
It's going to be Brock and Goldberg versus, like, they're going to have a bigger threat. Somebody's going to come back, and then Brock and Goldberg going to probably, because they only bring Goldberg back to run through Brock.
How long you think the Roman Reigns shit going to last?
Like, it's probably a while, because I feel
it's been going on for a while.
I feel he deserves it because they kept shitting on his shit. The fans, it's a lot of racist fucking, just like it's a lot of racist UFC fans and everything, racist boxing fans. It's a gang of fucking goofy ass racist WWE people, and not even the company, the actual people and they try to make that like we don't like them, or it's weird shit. And they were pushing, it seemed like, how the fuck do you cheer the Shield and they're like the greatest, dopest faction, we love them. Nigga, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins was putting niggas on this nigga's shoulder to slam through to the fucking ring. So
I feel like it's a little extra when they have somebody hold the title.
Like they did, like JBL.
Not just JBL, like John Cena and motherfuckers
but that's
like
just that. They did that just because it was the marketing.
But you the only person that's worthy of holding the title.
They just looking at it like the revenue. This nigga's the Make-A-Wish nigga. The move we can do them all. Even though the people, then that's what I'm saying. They don't listen to the fans when they should. When all these people are saying we're sick of this nigga, where we're chanting through his song, his matches, and we don't like him. We're not doing it like Angle, you suck, and he's still putting on great matches, and we're cheering during his matches, but that's part of his angle was you suck, but because it became such a cool thing to do, where even he turned it to you suck when he came out, when he turned face, and it still worked somehow, and it was perfect. Right. So that's the fans ribbing you and kind of trolling you, but they still respected him. They never not respected Kurt Angle. They just thought he was an ass when he came with the 3 eyes, and you know what I mean. So Cena was just pushed down people's throat for so long, where it's like we're sick of it. We're sick of. That's when The Rock came back, and that's why it went over so big. Because he's saying shit like Punk and the Pipe Bomb. Rock said the shit everybody had been wanting to say about Cena, and you put on the armbands and he said, "Yeah, more muscles." That shit was like the funniest shit ever, bro. Like, cause he was keeping it real. He said 100% some real shit, and he said, "We see." He said, "You go to what did he say? You go to your hometown. You go to Maryland. You go to Boston, and they boo you." Because he said, "You know why? Because they smell bullshit and they can see through you. Like real motherfuckers can see through you." And it's not that like they hate him, but it's like this is like goofy. It's like, come on, bro. Like, we really still watching this nigga, like, after, like, 18 years or something? Like, at least 18 years. Yeah. Like, so, and he works and does his shit, and he does, but it's just, his matches didn't evolve. He did the same little, it was like.
He just changed the name of the move because of, like, you know, like we said. It was the FU, and then he turned it to the attitude adjustment.
Yeah, so. same shit. And it was like, bro, this shit is like, it just got lame. But with Roman, I just feel like those dudes went so hard as the Shield, and the fans loved all of them because nobody booed Roman when he was in the Shield.
Yeah, but he wasn't having to do as many promos. You didn't have to talk on the mic.
And that's all it was, because
but
they
when
shared
John Cena shut him down, John Cena shut him down with the mic.
He did the same, but it's like John Cena shit is like looking in the mirror saying the same shit, honestly.
But John Cena was able to do a promo, and that's how he was able to get his acting gig.
Yeah.
Now, if Roman Reigns went out and tried to apply for an acting gig
he'd have
right
been in
now,
a few Fast and the Furious, but
he just did the Suicide Squad.
Who, Roman Reigns?
Oh, no,
John Cena.
John Cena.
That shit was fire too. That shit was fire as fuck.
And he was like a lead role in that motherfucker.
His role was perfect, just with the clash with Idris, and just that shit was dope, man. When they was competing, and just that shit was cool. So I think that's probably his first role. I mean, I've seen other ones I've liked of him. Like,
he was in what, the Marine?
Yeah, I remember that. No, I'm not saying this is his first one. I'm saying the first one I actually really fully liked. This shit is funny and dope as fuck. Like, he killed that shit.
Yeah.
Like, the other ones were kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, we not really like, it just seemed like it's whatever. So I just looked at it like he could have, like, I don't know, you could have different people in different positions, but when you keep trying to push the same people when the people are clearly saying that's not what they want. And that's what Vince is like, I don't give a fuck about y'all. And Triple H is like that too, honestly, to where he don't give a fuck about a lot of what the fans have to say. But then you get AEW and all these other people that go, well, fuck it, these are you can come here and be what you want. And now look at it, and it's like their shit is like WWE in like 99. The way they shit look when you watch that shit, that nigga was in the crowd crying. Like when CM Punk came out. Did you see that shit?
Yeah.
That shit, I swear I low-key got a little misty off that shit too. Like, damn, nigga, like, that nigga was really like, and then they have a meme where he, like, CM Punk, like, came out, like, they had a picture together after. I was like, that shit made it even, that shit was just, that's the feeling they're creating to where that feels good, and WWE doesn't create feelings anymore. They just, it's like a script and, like, weird shit.
But you got like, all the hottest old talent. And you got the hottest new talent.
It's like, it's pretty much
they got Sting. They got all these motherfuckers. You got
Sting and CM Punk. Fucking
The Undertaker, I told you, just signed with them.
What's the orange? Was it Orange Cassidy?
Yeah.
That nigga. That's what that nigga is. They got. It's like, bro. They got everybody. Nigga, fucking Big Show done pulled up, and even Luke Harper went before he passed and shit. Like, and that I always thought. Even when I had last time when I had 2K, I had him as like maybe one of the champ, like the like a world champ, either the SmackDown. When I had him as what I would like do my shit to where I like break off people from the stable, or the stable still with him, and like now he's kind of like the main one, and they're just behind him walking. That shit it's just dope, but that's how much I would be in and out play that shit.
Right.
And so Luke Harper was hard as fuck, like R.I.P. to that dude. But it's just, and that's the point of like people not misuse talent. And then they used him good enough, but once he got to like a certain level, it was like all right. And then they shipped him he went to AEW and bodied shit.
Yeah,
and was like the man, the guy it just seems like Vince has this issue, even if you're black or not. I don't want to just say if you're black, because he gives multiple black people opportunities. But like Lashley should have been champ, like long time. This nigga went the triple champ in Impact. Didn't he have like
that's
3
an
belts?
Impact though.
Didn't he have like 3?
But it's a whole different fan.
Exactly. It's a 5-sided ring and shit. Like I couldn't stand Impact, honestly.
But
really back in the day, they had good talent. But
it was Impact, then TNA, and then back to Impact again.
I just thought it was all kind of. It was, sir. They had moments. They had like they had the Aces and Eights. That was supposed to be like the NWO type shit. Where
they had a lot of different stables.
Yeah, it was a little certain shit. I remember they had Vince Russo pull up. And then
they say he was the reason that shit went downhill.
Yeah, of course, he's a curse. He's another person that doesn't know shit in this. Nigga, you like 91.
But when he was in WWF, a lot of the shit that happened was because it was what Vince told him to do.
Yeah, and then but his mindset is still 92, 90.
Then you go to WCW and they expect you to take over because you the head writer, but you only been doing what Vince told you to do the whole time.
Exactly. So it's like you trying to look tough.
So now he got Vampiro and the fucking New Blood and the Millionaires Club and all this shit. And
it was
that was what was supposed to sell, but
it didn't. Like the Yeti.
The Yeti. The Yeti.
The Yeti. Tony Schiavone. That nigga said,
It's the Yeti.
The Yeti, nigga. I was watching that shit last night. And then it's the song when he's like on him and he's like humping.
Yeah.
Nigga, I was watching that shit last night dying. Like, nigga.
They had fucking Kevin Nash as Oz.
Yeah.
The fucking Wizard of
Oz,
Oz.
Mr. Vegas, or Vinny Vegas.
Vinny Vegas.
I remember all that shit. And
I was
honestly,
fucking with DDP back in the day.
I didn't like fucking, because they were
Scott Hall was the Diamond Stud.
Yeah, the Diamonds. I remember all that shit.
Before Razor Ramon.
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember all that shit.
The Diamond Mine.
Yeah, that shit's like, nigga, that shit's super crazy. Just the throwbacks of all that shit. And I don't know, it just seemed like a lot of these, they can't, it's not that you have to recreate that, but you have to create something on that fills a time slot of, I mean, I can't remember, not speaking because I can't put myself in a mindset of a kid or teenager, but what teenager is gonna grow up right now and be like, all they're gonna remember is what, CM Punk, you know what I mean? Brock Lesnar, Rey Mysterio still, but even they not using him like they could, or he's older. But
now you got his son, Rey Mysterio. Got his son out there.
What was the other wrestling company? We forgot to mention that one, the Mexican one.
Lucha Underground.
Lucha Underground, like that shit. So it's like you got like other people. They were hard. They had like some sick shit. Cage and
I like Conan.
Yeah,
you remember Conan?
Conan was hard.
All right, so. When he first came over to WCW, he was in the Dungeon of Doom.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He was over there with Kevin Sullivan, all them motherfuckers. Yeah, Taskmaster.
I couldn't stand him back in the day.
But he's still coming out dressed like an essay.
Yeah.
With the button-down shirt and all
with
that.
The visor on.
But everybody else is like creatures and monsters.
Yeah, this nigga
shit.
got the visor on. He like a little homie. Like how little homies just be like, what the fuck is this?
Until he finally jumped over to the NWO.
That shit was hard. He come out doing a little.
Then he did the theme music for the Wolfpack.
Yeah,
he did that.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's dope.
He did all the theme music for every stable he had when he was the Filthy
LAX.
Animals. The Filthy Animals.
Wasn't he part of LAX?
Yeah, that was in Impact.
Yeah, they were hard. Them niggas, what was the dude?
Rey Mysterio,
Homicide,
Kidman, Hooven
Kidman,
all them was in the clique together in WCW called the Filthy Animals before they shut down.
I didn't remember that.
And they had a theme song for that.
That's crazy. Because I like I said, I watched WCW and I just didn't like it because they didn't know how to put on a wrestling. They had great talent, but they didn't know how to put on a wrestling show. So I was like, man, I can't I can't watch this shit. Like it was just hard to watch. I remember watching. I remember this girl I was talking to, and we were chilling one night, we smoking, and she used to watch WWF shit here and there. And then when I watched it, she would watch it with me because she knew it, from when she was younger. And I turned to TNA one night, fuck it, TNA is on. She never even heard of TNA because she's not super into it, but she watches it. And I watched. Well, I had been turning to it every maybe a few times. She's seen it maybe twice at the house. And she comes over, maybe she's over there chilling, and I turn it on. And I didn't turn Impact on, but I was just flipping channels, and the Impact was on. And I was landed on it for a second, and she was like, "Man, turn the channel. This shit, I hate watching this shit. This shit's like a chore." She literally said, watching Impact. She was like, "This shit is horrible, compared to WWE. I can't watch this shit." And I remember just laughing
because it's so low budget. The production behind it is so low budget.
You got this little ass ring,
yeah,
and it's just the acting is bad. They be trying to make them look cool in the big baggy suits, the Danny Glover suits.
They overact.
They put them in the Danny Glover suits.
They don't have all the pyro and special effects. And then when they do,
it looks silly when they do. And then they be trying to wear the little thin glasses and shit. They be trying to do the evolution. They clearly copy everything WWF does. People used to hate to admit that. They know dude, they got to stay with that was what was it? The one that was the fake evolution with Kurt Angle and AJ Styles and was it Fortune?
Fortune.
It was Fortune. Come on, bro. And they walking out.
What was the shit that Jeff Hardy? What was the shit that Jeff Hardy and Hogan and all them had together?
I don't remember.
It was some shit like that too, where they gave Jeff Hardy the belt.
I don't remember that shit. That shit. Oh, it's just weird.
I don't know. Well, shit, man. We've been going for an hour and hour and 15?
Hey,
shit.
Tap in, tap out.
Definitely. This has been a great live. Been enjoying this. Innovative Comedy. We coming back. We getting back to it. And shit, Grams, tell them what you got going on.
Shit, hit a bunch of fucking shows. Honestly, I'm too kind of like litty to even like go through my shit, and I'm on live, so I can't. But I got shows all through October. Tap in the IG, Tony Grams, TONY_GRAMS. Check it out. I'll put all my shit in my story. I'll put all my flyers up so you can see I'm like different spots. Some shit in Lakewood tonight, for Paramount Boulevard. Got a show off of East Olympic tomorrow with Luis Noriega and Angela Corza.
The Drunken Sailor.
Yeah, that's the homie. Like we got just a bunch of shit and like different shows. Sunset Rooftop be popping. 6099 Sunset. Right over there, like above Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Mm-hmm. Come up there, see a good show, see some good shit, get some good food. Some good comedians, black comedians, white ones, everybody over there. So pull up and shit. In between, like I said, just tap into the IG. You'll see everything, and we got it.
That's right. Y'all know me. I'm Coolazzcam, the coolest motherfucker on the planet, and we do this shit all the time. Innovative culture. We doing some next level shit.
Nigga Cam in autopilot.
Yeah, I am. Let's get the fuck out of here. We got some moves to make.
Bust it.
Niggas got shows. Niggas got all kind of shit to get to. So we out this bitch. Peace.
Hey.
Innovative.